Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. Those are available at betterwater.com. We got a lot to get to today, and we've been saying that every day since what October? Like, let's be perfectly honest. It's beginning to be a point where if we have a lot to get to, we know.
Drinking through a fire hose.
We get it. But I mean, today we got to cover the Putin call, right? 10-10-321-1-800-COLLECT to Putin. Did you ever do that? Did you ever do that when you were a kid?
No,
You never did that?
Mm-mm.
I've done 1-800-COLLECT and 10-10-321. It was a different time.
Yeah, I grew up with a landline and a corded phone, but I never had to do that.
I did. All right, so we got to do the Putin. I know, I'm so old.
I had to get that out there.
I'm from the best generation, mind you. You're a bit too young for my liking. See,
Hey.
I grew up without the internet, but I also know how to use the internet.
I grew up without the internet for a good chunk because I was poor.
All right, fair enough. We'll allow it. So we got to talk about the Putin call. We got to talk about the Tesla attacks escalating, the JFK files dropping, which, a lot of people were the skeleton in the rocking chair waiting for that to happen until it did yesterday afternoon. And then the sequel that nobody wanted is USAID back. Yuck. We got to do, the federal judge said, how dare you take away those circumcisions for those gentlemen in Mozambique? How dare you cancel the DEI musical in Ireland? Have you no heart? That's what they said, apparently. That's where we're going to start today. A federal judge, surprise, surprise, a federal judge has said USAID must be reinstated, practically all of its functionality. So you begin to wonder, how can a federal judge be doing this stuff? Like, this is just, it's getting to the point of just ridiculousness, right? Like, we shouldn't be paying for circumcisions in Mozambique. We shouldn't be paying to have the opium farmers tend to their crops in Afghanistan. We shouldn't be paying for regime change in other nations. We shouldn't be paying for propaganda in other nations. Like, this has got to stop. The American people voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump to put an end to this kind of stuff. And yet we see time and time again these federal judges getting in the way of the American people's will. They want this stuff to happen. We've seen the corruption exposed. And yet some judge decides, no, we're not going to do that. Well, it's infuriating to say the least. And then you look into these judges. Again, the conflicts of interest are always there, aren't they? We talked about Judge Boasberg yesterday. He's the guy that wanted to turn the planes around. I'm surprised Boasberg didn't send an order to turn the spaceship around yesterday when the astronauts got returned. He said, you got to send them back. I'm surprised that didn't happen. But he had conflicts of interest. His wife was donating to political candidates on the left, and he was appointed by Obama. And now we're seeing the same thing with the USAID judge, that guy who's blocking or reinstating, mind you, the functionality of USAID. Well, the wife of that judge, she worked for Joe Biden. She also worked for the National Immigration Forum, a radical pro-open borders advocacy group. Her name is Jacinta Ma. The National Immigration Forum advocates for mass amnesty and staunchly opposes border enforcement policies. George Soros' Open Society Foundation is reportedly the group's largest donor. This is who she works for. Are you surprised? This is the wife of the judge that has ordered USAID to be reinstated. She's on record strategizing how to overhaul President Trump's border policies in a USA Today article. She said that Biden could immediately raise the refugee cap through executive order. This is when Biden got elected. The National Immigration Forum is so radically anti-Trump, they actually auctioned off that. Remember the life-size nude statue of Donald Trump in 2016? Do you remember that? I remember that. The National Immigration Forum auctioned that off, profited six figures from it. Like they also radically opposed the wall. She The wife is an avid Democrat, and you can only assume the same about the husband, right? Like, yeah, obviously. Donated 24 times to Democrat candidates, including President Trump's opponents. In addition to working with Obama, she was the Biden director of the Office of Communications and Legislative Affairs at the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Whew, it's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. What did she do there? Well, she worked on anti-racism. She worked on anti-racism. So that's the wife. And the judge is saying, no. USAID needs to come back. The sequel that nobody wanted. Nobody asked for this. Nobody wants our tax dollars going to this. I think you'd be hard pressed to even find a Democrat who thinks it's a good use of their tax dollars to help fund the lowly Afghan farmers grow opium that then is flooding our country and killing our citizens. Right? I think it'd be hard pressed to find a Democrat who thinks that circumcisions in Mozambique is really an appropriate use of our tax dollars, or that to be a good steward of tax dollars, you have to fund transgender comic books in Peru and a transgender opera in Colombia. I think it was transgender opera, a trans opera, not to be confused with a Trans-Siberian Orchestra, completely different. And as far as I know, no trans are involved in that group. Can you fact check me on that?
And vastly more talented.
Vastly more talented. There may be one, so don't quote me. But President Trump, he was asked last night, would you defy a court order? I mean, you're dealing with all of these rogue judges. So would you defy a court order? Hold on one second. I got audio coming from somewhere. I don't know where.
Apologize to our customers. Experience.
Where's that coming from? You know where that audio is coming from? Hang on one second. I'm having a bit of technical difficulty. That doesn't make any sense where that audio is coming from. Hang on. I'm going to close everything out.
Extreme. Winds gusting to 35 miles per hour.
Why is the weather playing? Oh, hold on. I think I know. Dan left Adobe Audition open. Is that it?
Ended safely and proceeded to...
There we go.
I don't think that's it. There it is. There we go. It was Dan. Just for
Dan.
Let the record show. That was Dan.
Because
that was really weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
Dan. Okay. Can I give you some inside baseball?
Sure.
The majority of the hosts use Google Chrome. Dan uses, what is it, Microsoft Edge or something like that? That weird web browser. So I never looked to close it. So the audio that we played during the cross, it was just on loop.
Nice.
Thanks, Dan.
Nice.
Where was I? Oh, yeah. Trump was asked last night on whether or not he would defy a court order because he's dealing with all of these rogue judges. And at a certain point, you have to wonder when he's just going to be like, enough is enough.
What would you say to that? Are there circumstances where you would defy a court order?
Well, I think that, number one, nobody's been through more courts than I have. I think nobody knows the courts any better than I have. I would say the chief judge does, but nobody knows them better than I have. And what they've done to me, I've had the worst judges. I've had crooked judges. I have judges that valued Mar-a-Lago at $18 million because that benefited his case, because he wanted to see me convicted of something. I have judges that had relatives making millions and millions of dollars on the election, ruling on the election.
But going forward,
I had judges
would
that
you
were
defy
so
a court
corrupt.
order? Because we all know that, and that was outrageous.
I never did defy a court order.
And you wouldn't in the future?
No, you can't do that. However, we have bad judges. We have very bad judges, and these are judges that shouldn't be allowed. I think at a certain point you have to start looking at what do you do when you have a rogue judge. The judge that we're talking about, you look at his other rulings, I mean, rulings unrelated, but having to do with me, he's a lunatic.
Yeah. Judge Chang is the one who ordered the reinstatement of USAID. And during this interview with Laura Ingraham, I don't know. Well, full disclosure, I respect Laura Ingraham, respect the grind. She does radio, she does TV. I'm not knocking the grind. Personally, can't stand her interview style whatsoever from just a viewership standpoint. I don't understand how she has this big show. And she's constantly interrupting Trump during this interview. and almost to a certain extent being combative. I don't know if you saw it live, but that was the take that I got from it. I was really rather unimpressed and a little bit irritated with the angles that no pun intended, with the angles that she took on this interview with Donald Trump. But she asked him about Judge Chang reinstatement of USAID, which is the big story this morning. And Trump said, a judge like that, you don't need a judge like that.
You know what he should do? He should really look at where the money went. They don't ever want to do that. You know, the Democrats always talk about, oh, our Constitution's been violated. The one thing they never talk about is, where did these billions of dollars go?
Facts.
They never want to look, because when you see where the money went and the scams, you don't even have to see anything. Just look at the heading and the scam that they've created. And a judge like him will never look at that. They'll just say, oh, you want to, it sounds so nice, USAID, isn't it beautiful? But it's a whole big scam, Laura. And a judge like that is so bad for our country.
Well,
Absolutely. And the American people understand what the scam is. President Trump is absolutely right there. Even the left, whenever they attack this stuff, they'll say unconstitutional. Oh, Elon can't look at our personal info, but they never address where the money is going. And I've yet to hear a Democrat ask, why are you okay with USAID funding Afghanistan opium farmers? Why are you okay with USAID funding propaganda? Why are you okay with USAID funding regime change? Why are you okay with USAID paying for circumcisions and condoms in foreign countries? How is that being a good steward of our tax dollars? They never get asked the question. They're not going to get asked the question by legacy media, and they don't really go on conservative media. What they're going to have to do is be confronted by independent journalists and ask the question on record. And even then, what you'll get is you'll get a politician running and scurrying away as fast as they can and ignoring the questions, because there are no answers to that question. There's nothing there. There's nothing that you can say to justify how you've been wasting our tax dollars. Nothing. And this judge should be impeached. So should Boasberg. Now, Chief Justice Roberts, well, he doesn't like the talk of impeachment. To which I'd say, can we impeach a SCOTUS judge? Because, like, bro, you've been pretty disappointing. Not gonna lie. Chief Justice Roberts yesterday, he put out this statement saying it's not an appropriate response to air grievances and your disagreement over a judge's ruling. He said, for more than 2 centuries, it has been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial ruling. Nor the normal appellate review process exists for that purpose. Roberts said this in a rare statement, and I would just ask the question, did Roberts release a statement when Joe Biden was ignoring the Supreme Court on student loans? Did Roberts, what has Roberts released statements for in the past? I think Roberts is rabidly anti-Trump, personally. Trump posting on True Social, the rabid left lunatic of a judge, a troublemaker, an agitator who is appointed by Barack Hussein Obama, was not elected president. He didn't win the popular vote. I read this yesterday, but the crux of it is that he wants to impeach the judge. He's pissed off about the statements. Roberts said that that's not appropriate. I would argue that going against the president in such a manner is inappropriate. We're witnessing lawfare 2.0. That's what we're seeing. Lawfare 2.0. And when you go by the numbers, it's even more egregious than you think it is. When you compare the amount of judges interfering in the Trump administration so far versus what they did versus Biden, what they did to Obama, what they did to Bush, the numbers aren't even close. It's insane. Maybe this is part of the Trump strategy. I've read a couple people that I respect, one including Charlie Kirk, who said this is part of the strategy. Like, we knew that this stuff was going to come, and that's why Trump is doing all of this as quickly and as fast as he can, so that way he can get into the Supreme Court and then get out of the Supreme Court before the term is over. We got a lot more. I'm going to explain the numbers to you when we get back. Plus, Democrats, they don't think you have any right to complain about where your tax dollars are going or how they should spend your money. All that and more on the way. It is 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Strong storms, but not severe. We'll tell you what Stefano DiPietro has to say about our weather today. Looks like BNA is going to stay BNA. What we know about the effort to change the name of the airport, and not just for President Trump either. Those stories coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. I'm Chris Ann. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. So a judge from Maryland has ruled that the dismantling of USAID likely violates the Constitution. And I'm just wondering how. They rolled it back into the State Department, who was supervising it anyway. And then the Secretary of State eliminated 83% of it. I don't get it. But the federal judge ruled Tuesday that the dismantling of the U.S. Agency for International Development that likely developed nothing has likely violated the Constitution in an order that blocked Elon Musk's Doge from making further cuts to the agency. He goes on. This is the first lawsuit that actually includes Musk, but the order requires the Trump administration to restore email and computer access to all employees of USAID, including those put on administrative leave, though it appears to stop short of reversing firings or fully resurrecting the agency. They're trying to resurrect the agency. It doesn't go as far as it could. In one of the first Doge lawsuits against Musk himself, U.S. District Judge Theodore Chang in Maryland rejected the Trump administration's position that Musk is merely President Donald Trump's advisor. They say his public statements, the social media posts, demonstrate something different, that he has firm control over Doge. The judge acknowledged that it's likely that USAID is no longer capable of performing some of its statutorily required functions. Taken together, these facts support the conclusion that USAID has been effectively eliminated, Chang wrote in the preliminary injunction. The lawsuit filed by USAID employees and contractors argue that Musk and Doge are wielding power the Constitution reserves only for those who win elections or are confirmed by the Senate. And I would say, I don't know if that judge won an election. The administration said that Doge is searching for waste, fraud, and abuse. We understand that it's been found. This judge is saying, you got to get back to doing USAID things. Interesting. But what we're witnessing is lawfare 2.0. Make no mistake about it. This is lawfare 2.0. And we're seeing it. Nayib Bukele, president of El Salvador, said this is a judicial coup. And I have to agree with him. Judicial coup. When you look at the number of national injunctions imposed by district judges, right? There was a Harvard Law Review article. 67% of all injunctions this century came against President Trump. Weird. And 92% of those were imposed by Democrat-appointed judges. You look at total injunctions. George Bush, 6. Barack Obama, 12. Donald Trump, term 1, 64. Biden, 14. Donald Trump, way ahead of anybody else. I said Trump term 1. It was Trump term 1 and 2, 64. It's insane. Of the 12 nationwide injunctions issued in response to the Obama administration policies, 7 were issued by judges appointed by a Republican president. The 12 injunctions were issued by 8 district courts. Just over half were issued by district courts in Texas, 3 by northern Texas. Of the 64 nationwide injunctions against Trump, only 5 were issued by judges appointed by a Republican, leaving 92% of the injunctions against Trump imposed by radical leftist Democrat judges. Now, Chief Roberts, he doesn't think impeachment and the president saying such is an appropriate response. Yet one member from Congress thinks that that's the only response. We'll talk about it when we get back. 9:30, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. Now 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Still closed this morning in Lebanon. Murfreesboro Road between Holloway Road and Leanna Lane. They're still working a crash scene investigation. Also, 65 on the northbound side in Franklin. There is a crash and the two left lanes are blocked off. Paytonsville Road, at Goose Creek Bypass, exit 61. Careful in that area, too. Metro Council passing a bill that allows police to access a network of cameras within the community. The so-called Fusus technology allows police to watch surveillance video from private cameras and residences who give the okay beforehand. Mayor Freddie O'Connell has said in the past that having that technology greatly benefits Metro Police in solving crimes. An operations analyst for the Metro government of Nashville has been arrested and charged with sexual exploitation of a minor. Police say 48-year-old Jesse Stinson admitted to using Yahoo email to send sexual abuse material to others. They do expect to file additional charges today. Well, we are expecting some thunderstorms to arrive in the mid-state later today. Stefano DiPietro, though, tells us for this one, we can chill out.
What this means for us is that the severe threat is much more isolated. So not a widespread severe weather outbreak threat like what we were talking about this past weekend. Rough timeline between 5 o'clock this evening and midnight tonight. High wind gusts, heavier rainfall will be the main concern. Your tornado threat is very low. That is virtually zero, and that is certainly some good news.
Yeah, it sure is. But stick around. We've got the full forecast right after the news. Channel 4 Stacey Cameron telling us the second time was not the charm for a bill to give Nashville International Airport a new name.
The bill to rename BNA to Trump International Airport will, after being taken off the legislative calendar earlier this month, its Republican sponsor, Representative Todd Warner, brought it back, but the House Committee on Transportation voted to kill it today, mainly due to its $10 million price tag.
Now, changing the name may not be a popular option at all. An online petition to rename the airport for Dolly Parton has only received 6,700 signatures since its inception in January. That's the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Love these guys. They're coming to my house to tune up my AC as we get ready for the warm summer months. You should do that as well. And you can save a lot of money calling Busy Bee today. It's spring rebate madness. Listen to these rebates. You get a mini split 17 SEER or heat pump 17 SEER. You get $800 back in the form of a rebate. Heat pump 15 or 16 SEER, $500 rebate. Duct sealing or repair, $300 rebate. The tune-ups that I was just telling you I'm going to be getting on my AC, well, those will land you a $50 rebate for each tune-up. Now, the Beehive Club membership comes with 3 tune-ups. If you do some quick napkin math, you'll understand that they're basically paying you for a Beehive Club membership. That Beehive Club membership is the best value in HVAC, $99. You get 3 annual tune-ups, 10% off all repairs, front-of-the-line service, $100 annual accrued replacement credit, no overtime or holiday fees, and exclusive Beehive member promotions. Call them today. Tell them Chris Hand sent you, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833. These are my HVAC guys, busybeehvac.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
It's 9:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris And. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to the show on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the 99.7 WTN app. You can watch the show on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and our personal favorite, YouTube, where we have the most red pill chat in America every single day from 9 to noon. They've been discussing the finer points on interview styles between Hannity and Laura Ingraham. Not many people are fans. I respect the grind. I don't watch the shows. I don't. I'll catch the clips.
Clips are easier to digest.
Yeah, agreed. Hit that like button and subscribe while you're over on the YouTube page. We do appreciate it. I pride myself on beating the other shows in likes and subscribes.
So normally we're pretty consistent, but Mr. Mandis is putting in a little effort.
Mandis has been putting in work on the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, so help us beat Mandis. Hit like, hit subscribe, and you'll also help send my kids to summer camp.
Yeah.
It's free to do. We got a lot to cover today. So USAID is back. It's like the sequel nobody wanted. Name a worse sequel. We'll see what happens. But these radical Democrats, they just don't understand that the American people don't want their money going to this kind of stuff. And Democrat leadership, they don't seem to understand either. Yesterday, Chuck Schumer was mocking Americans on The View, of all places. He's so out of touch, and this clip just illustrates that. He was talking about tax dollars and how, these greedy, stupid Americans don't want us wasting their tax money.
And you know what their attitude is? I made my money all by myself. How dare your government take my money from me? I don't want to pay taxes. Or, I built my company with my bare hands. How dare your government tell me how I should treat my customers, the land and water that I own, or my employees? They hate government. Government's a barrier to people, a barrier to stop them from doing things. They want to destroy it. We are not letting them do it, and we're united.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we do. We hate government being a barrier. We see that you guys waste our tax dollars, and you think that's a bad thing? Am I missing something? Is Chuck Schumer literally trying to flush his political career down the toilet?
I think it's funny that they had to start playing music over what he was saying because of how dumb it was.
They went to the wrap it up box. So wrap it up, B. You're going too hard.
Oh, he's talking it like an idiot? Yeah, cool. Let's get him out of here.
Let's wrap it up.
Get out of here.
Wrap it up. That wasn't the only dumb thing that he said on The View. You know what keeps him up at night? The oligarchs. I don't understand. I don't understand.
So a lot of people responded to the anguish. I appreciate it. I am I wake up 3 a.m. sometimes so worried about the future of the country under these oligarchs or whatever, oligarchs, I guess.
Yes.
And but
yeah, and Chuck floundering, failing. How dare you want your tax dollars being used responsibly? We have to make sure that those men in Mozambique get their circumcisions. So that's where we're at. We have judges that want to bring rapists and murderers and gang members back into the country, and we have judges who want your tax dollars going out of the country. See, I want it reversed. I want our tax dollars in the country and the rapists and the gang members and the murderers out of the country. Apparently, that makes me a Nazi? Am I doing the math right? If you want to keep your tax dollars here, you want the murderers and the rapists gone, that's a Nazi. But if you want your tax dollars there and the murderers and the rapists and the gang members here, that makes you a patriot? Is that the new new equation?
Something ain't mathin'.
The math ain't mathin'. It doesn't make any sense. But this is where we're at. Rogue judges and Lawfare 2.0 against President Trump. And he was talking about those rogue judges. And especially Boasberg, who told him that he had to turn the planes around last night with Laura Ingraham on the Ingraham angle.
The Chief Justice said it was more than two centuries. We understood that essentially impeachment was for very rare circumstances and not an appropriate response to rulings you disagree with. What's your reaction to the courts stepping in to make a statement here? They didn't make a statement when Joe Biden decided to forgive all those student loans.
Well, he didn't mention my name in the statement. I just saw it quickly. He didn't mention my name, but many people have called for his impeachment, the impeachment of this judge. I don't know who the judge is, but he's radical left. He was Obama appointed. And he actually said we shouldn't be able to take criminals, killers, murderers, horrible, the worst people, gang members, gang leaders, that we shouldn't be allowed to take them out of our country. Well, that's a presidential job. That's not for a local judge to be making that determination.
He's right. He's absolutely right. That's the president's call, not some local judge. Listen, low key, that was a jab, like some local judge. I love it. But yeah, people are bringing articles of impeachment. Brandon Gill, Republican out of Texas, has introduced articles of impeachment towards towards Judge Boasberg because of what he's done to Donald J. Trump. Rep. Brandon Gill filed those articles of impeachment against James Boasberg after the judge ordered the Trump administration return planes full of deported gang members back into the country after they were deported to El Salvador, where they're now comfortably residing in Escalate, which is a prison that you don't want to go to. Again, just I've said this before. Talk about a deterrent. If you're a member of MS-13, you're a member of Tren de Aragua, you know that if you come into the United States, originally you thought you might get deported, right? Maybe you go to a cushy American prison where you can still conduct your street business on the inside, which happens a lot. Believe it or not, you have gang leaders inside prisons in America conducting the business that happens on the streets. Not a rarity. It happens. So they think maybe we'll go there. We can still continue to make money and do our thing, and then we'll be out in a jiffy. Well, now, no, you're going to actually be deported, not back to your home country, but to El Salvador, and you're going to the most notorious prison for gang members in the entire world, Escalate, and that's where you're going to stay. That's where you're going to stay for a very long time. That is a very powerful deterrent. Make no mistake about it. Every gang member, cartel member, they know about Escalate. And they're going to think twice before coming into this country. If they know that you break in here illegally and you have gang ties, you're tied to these terrorist organizations as Donald Trump has declared them, well, you're going to Escalate. They're going to think twice. They're going to absolutely think twice. So Boasberg is being an absolute bum trying to have those planes turn around. Let's not beat around the bush. Loser move. Anti-American move. And so he needs to face those consequences. Rep. Brandon Gill out of Texas wants to bring those consequences to him immediately. And he has now introduced articles of impeachment against, as he puts it, radical activist Judge James Boasberg. Rep. Brandon Gill says that James Boasberg is guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors and should be removed from office. Quote, James Boasberg has gravely overstepped his authority, usurping the constitutional power of the commander-in-chief. President Trump is securing America's neighborhoods, restoring safety for men, women, children who call this nation home. We will not tolerate radical, politically motivated judges illegally and unconstitutionally stopping the president from carrying out his mandate. Gill wrote on X, I introduced the articles of impeachment against the radical activist Judge James Boasberg. He's guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors and should be removed from office. There's some co-sponsors on the bill. You may know some of these names: Eli Crane, Buddy Carter, Mike Collins, Barry Moore, Andrew Clyde. The articles of impeachment accused Boasberg of an abuse of power because of his order and stated that Judge Boasberg violated his oath of office. He did knowingly and willfully use his judicial position to advance political gain while interfering with President Trump's constitutional prerogatives and enforcement of the rule of law. Boasberg, on Saturday evening, that's when this all started, ordering those planes to turn around. Just a loser move. Nayib Bukele says that we're facing a judicial coup. I tend to agree. I tend to agree. By the way, the USAID stuff is taking a lot of attention. The planes, telling the planes they got to turn around, that's getting a lot of attention. But we have another activist judge out there doing activist judge things. This time, we have an activist judge blocking Trump's ban on transgender military service. And I know we got a lot of veterans in the audience, and I wonder how you guys feel about this. 615-737-9986. Judge Anna Reyes, appointed by, wait for it, Joe Biden. Judge Anna Reyes has blocked Trump's ban on transgender military service, quote, indefinitely. So we have a judge deciding who's qualified to serve in the U.S. military, not the commander-in-chief of the U.S. military. Make it make sense. What authority does this judge have to decide who is medically qualified to serve in the U.S. military? What's next? Is the judge going to say you have to allow schizophrenics serve? You have to. Whatever you do, you have to. This is a mental condition. Let's not beat around the bush here. There are two genders. And if you're going through gender dysphoria, I think that you should get some medical help and talk to somebody. And you know what? If you're an adult and you want to go through that process, well, this is America. You're free to do that, by all means. And I disagree with it very much so. But I also don't think that we should be allowing somebody with deteriorating mental health serve in the U.S. military. And I definitely don't think that our tax dollars should be funding the surgeries in the U.S. military for those service members, which our tax dollars have been going to. So Judge Anna Reyes, appointed by Biden, is now saying, no, we're blocking that indefinitely. Can't wait for this one to get to the Supreme Court. Cannot wait. She said, the language is unabashedly demeaning. Its policy stigmatizes transgender persons as inherently unfit, and its conclusions bear no relation to fact. Thus, even if the court analyzed the military ban under rational basis review, it would fail. I don't agree. I don't agree whatsoever. Reyes issued a preliminary injunction, which she stayed until Friday morning to give the Trump administration time to appeal. Representatives from the Department of Defense referred Axios to the Justice Department for comment, which did not immediately respond to a request for comment in the evening. Representatives in the White House also did not respond to requests for comment. These activist judges have to be stopped. It's getting insane. Insane. This is the commander-in-chief. If you're dealing with mental health issues, he needs to be able to say, you can't serve. You can't. That's his right. This case, if it goes all the way to the Supreme Court, they're guaranteed going to lose. I guarantee it. We'll find out, though. Now, again, we're seeing lawfare 2.0 against the Trump administration. The number of injunctions by the numbers are insane. You had 6 injunctions against George Bush, 12 injunctions against Obama, 14 injunctions against Biden, 64 against Trump. 64. That's insane. However, a lot of people say that this is part of the strategy. You get all this stuff in quick, that way it can work its way through the court system, and it'll be resolved very, very quickly. Fingers crossed that this is part of the strategy. Fingers crossed that they saw this coming. But only time will tell. But these radical judges need to be held accountable. It's 9:52. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
We have breaking news this morning that SWAT teams have surrounded an armed man outside the CIA headquarters in Virginia. Stick around. We've got the latest for you on that coming up at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. Thank you, Joan. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I got a great text here from our guy, Rocco. I asked him to call in, but Rocco's working. Rocco's working hard. He's in an 18-wheeler. Anecdotally, we're the number one show for truck drivers in Middle Tennessee. But we love Rocco. And he sent me this text. We were talking about the judge halting the ban on transgenders in the military. And this text is so interesting, man. He said, after 8 years of service, I got out of the United States Navy. And about a year later, I decided that I wanted to go back. But they used the excuse that because I was on antidepressants and anxiety medications, that I would need to jump through hoops and get a lot of waivers in order to join back. And now they want to let people in with obvious mental illness into the military? How about no? Yikes. Yeah. Mario texted in, and he said, to be in the military, you must be available for worldwide assignments. The transition surgeries create a lifetime patient and make a person unavailable for worldwide assignments. Yep. I'd also wonder how many of these transgenders are enlisting just for the taxpayer-funded surgeries, which is not the right reasons. Got a couple texts here. Any word on the released JFK files? Yeah, I do. I got some thoughts as well. We'll talk about it when we get back. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 10 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The closure in Lebanon on Murfreesboro Road remains this morning. It is shut down there, Holloway Road through Leanna Lane. An investigation there after an earlier accident. And we're following breaking reports of an armed suspect outside the CIA headquarters in McLean, Virginia right now. That suspect reportedly sitting on a bench. They have a SWAT team surrounding them on the scene. We know that roadway in front of the CIA entrance has been closed off. Police are directing traffic around it. We'll bring you more as we learn more about the situation. We want you to be weather aware today. Channel 4 Stefano DiPietro telling us that, yes, we are getting some thunderstorms and some rain tonight.
But not those slow-moving downpours like this past weekend. So we're not really expecting any flooding, though there could be some ponding. 1 out of 5 is that severe threat across Middle Tennessee and southern Kentucky. Hail and tornado threats are not a big concern for us heading through today.
Yeah, we've got more in the forecast, which comes up right after the news. Stick around. On a final reading, Metro Council has given the okay for police to use private cameras to help investigate crimes. But Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac tells us this time around there are some guardrails.
Here's what's different about this updated plan. Private cameras can only be accessed in emergencies, and officers have to log every time they pull up footage. Private areas and inside of homes will not be accessible, and apartment buildings can only link cameras in parking lots.
That plan needs to be funded now, and that's what's next for it. A Whites Creek mother has been charged after firing a weapon at a playground while children were playing there. Teresita Campbell is her name. She reportedly pointed the gun at other parents and children at the playground and then fired a shot in the air after one mother complained about the children beating up her child. The victims took cover and called police. A national TV address from Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today after airstrikes resumed in Gaza yesterday. He accuses Hamas of failing to release more hostages.
A top Israeli official telling ABC News Hamas is going to, quote, continue to be hammered until we get the hostages out. That a day after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered intense IDF airstrikes across Gaza, what has killed more more than 400 Palestinians and shattered the ceasefire. Those airstrikes continuing today in northern and southern Gaza, where Palestinians once again are on the move after facing new Israeli evacuation orders. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
And the White House is standing behind Israel. We've got the latest on our storms that are headed our way later today. That's up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. We love those guys. You need a water filtration system. You need some water softeners. You go to betterwater.com. They'll hook you up. You can listen to the show anywhere. iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or the 99.7 WTN app. You can watch the show on Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and our personal favorite, YouTube. And the best part about watching the show is that you get the video along with the audio. Listen, I'm an old school guy. I love the FM dial. I'm not knocking it. We program for radio. Let's not beat around the bush. Our first focus is always the radio. But if you're craving a little bit more, head on over to YouTube, search for Super Talk 99.7 WTN, hit like, hit subscribe, and jump in that chat. We always appreciate the conversation. You can also join the conversation at 615-737-9986 via phone calls or texts. This conversation, I'd love to get your input. What'd you think about the JFK release yesterday? I'll be honest with you. I thought it was handled sloppily once again. It reminded me, we got a lot more than we got with the Epstein stuff, but I thought that the release was very, very sloppy. Why was there no press conference? Why was there no big meeting with Anna Paulina Luna and Pam Bondi at a podium saying, hey, guys, we are releasing a lot of documents, a lot. Here are some particular ones you may find interesting and the context around them. Because currently what we have right now are what I refer to lovingly, mind you, as weaponized autists diving through 80,000 pages of documents, just looking, and then posting documents on Twitter and saying, did you see what I found? This is insane. And there's so many different angles that you can take. But it just felt like the rollout was awkward and clunky and janky. Again.
To be fairly honest, I thought they were going to drop a bunch of binders on the Capitol building stairs and just go, good luck.
Yeah, honestly.
Good luck.
At the very least, they didn't give it to social media influencers.
Yeah. Jeez.
And, listen, going back to the Epstein stuff, I knew 3 people that were handed binders personally in that room. 3 of them, well, 2 of them I very, very highly respect their journalistic integrity. The 3rd one, very, very nice person, social media influencer, not a journalist. I think that's right. Like, I don't want to besmirch them.
Yeah, but there is a clear difference.
There's a very clear difference. And there was a very clear difference in who posed in the photos. Those are your social media influencers. And who wanted nothing to do with those press people and weren't in any of the photos. Those were the journalists that were there, including our very own friend of the show, Savannah Hernandez. And she's working on a story for Friday. I said to her, man, you got to come on the show Monday. She's like, all right, Chris, I got you. So stay tuned for that. I don't want to blow any leads or screw up her report, but it could be pretty good. We'll keep you updated on that. But the influencers didn't even know that they were going to get those binders. So on a certain level, I feel like they were all played as pawns. And I've spoken with several higher ups in the Congress and the Senate, and I've made my opinion known that it definitely seemed like you were using those people as pawns, and I didn't like it particularly much at all. I think you made a lot of people look bad. But this rollout, no social media influencers, just as clunky. Can we get a press conference? Honestly, this is something that people have been waiting for a long, long time. Can we get a press conference? Can we have a bit more of the dissemination of the info in the public by these trusted officials? Or are you just going to dump it and say, yeah, whatever, there you go? It did seem that there were a lot less redactions in the JFK files this time. There were a couple of files that stood out to me. Again, this is upon first glance, right? So I don't want to put the cart before the horse. This is on first glance. I don't consider myself a weaponized autist. I was going off of reports that I would see online, and then I would go through the archives, and I would make sure that any of the documents I'm about to talk about right here were verified inside the release. Because one of the fears that I had was that you're going to get a lot of fakes out there because of how many documents were released, that somebody was going to publish something that was wrong, post something that was inaccurate, and it was essentially going to discredit everything that was posted. So all the documents that I'm going to talk about here, I personally went to the JFK archive, found the document, and said, okay, there it is. This post is accurate. Cool, I can talk about this. I didn't dig through every one of the 80,000 documents. I have 4 kids, 2 dogs, 2 full-time jobs, and a wife that I love very, very much. Don't have the time to dig through 80,000 documents. I don't know who does. I do know that there are people that are working on getting these documents digitized and into a text format, and kind of the same way that the Data Republican broke down the Doge files and those documents where you could search a lot of the USAID grants. They're doing something very similar with those 80,000 JFK documents right now, where they're importing them, digitizing them, and it's going to be available in a database that you can search keywords, right? So you can search CIA, you can search Lyndon Johnson, you can search all sorts of things, all of them. Okay. Now the first document that was circulating when everything was released, it seemed like a bombshell. It was going around. It was telling a story about how Gary Underhill, who worked for the CIA, he was dead. He was found dead. Surprisingly, it was shocking. And this was after he was known to be telling friends that the CIA was responsible for the assassination of JFK. So that seems interesting, right? And a lot of people, and myself included, I retweeted. I said, did the CIA kill JFK? And then you dig in a little bit more and you realize this is old news. It's old news. This Gary Underhill story where he claims that the CIA killed JFK and were involved in the assassination, and then he subsequently was murdered. Well, that appeared in a magazine 50 years ago. The magazine came out in 1975. It was called The Spotlight. So it's old news, and that was going around everywhere. One interesting piece I found, though, was a 1978 letter from a man named Sergei Grinanov. Again, I'm butchering the name. There are two things that I do on this show. I try to entertain you, and I butcher names. And most of the time, we're really heavy on the butchering names. So this guy, Sergei Grinanov, he's a Soviet defector. And there's a letter from a piece, this is from 1978, where they have a letter from Sergei where he was claiming that he knew Oswald would be killed after killing Kennedy, and that MLK, Martin Luther King Jr., would also be killed. And I thought that this was very, very interesting. It says, at 9 a.m. on August 19th, 1963 in Washington, D.C., I went to see Mr. Kippingen, director of the Special Counselor Services Department of State at 1901 Pennsylvania Avenue, 11th floor. I told the director that I have information about President Kennedy. The director said, do not mention the name of President Kennedy. Only respond to the questions. The director said, tell us what will happen to Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald then. I said, Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald will be killed after kill Kennedy. I said I will take the truth drug to tell the truth. Oh, all right. Now, if you're a proficient rabbit hole jumper, like I tend to be, where you dive deep down into those, you'll be familiar with the CIA truth drug. It's something that they'll inject you with, and then you can't lie. It's the Wonder Woman lasso of drugs. And he said, I'll take the truth drug. Director, tell us who else will get killed in this country. I said, as I heard, that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. will be killed. Who will kill Dr. King, the Negro leader? I said, a man who is in prison at this time. Now, James Earl Ray, at the time of this letter, was in prison. Director asked where the assassination will happen. I said, in Dallas, Texas. Director said, if someone gave me this information here, I would expel to the man. Director did call on FBI agents after FBI used anesthesia gas to freeze me, to drug me, to keep me amnesia. I don't know, man. What does this letter mean? I don't know. It was circulating. Found it interesting. There's some other interesting pieces here. One bombshell that people are clinging to is that the State Department ignored warnings about Oswald's plan to kill Kennedy. This is from these newly declassified documents. A whistleblower told U.S. officials in July of 1963 that Lee Harvey Oswald planned to kill the president, naming Soviet contacts and confirming Oswald had a weapon. The response, so what if Oswald has a weapon? It's interesting. What does it mean? I don't know. Did they take it more serious than they let on in this newly declassified document? I don't know. Another one, Lyndon Johnson. This file is still secret. A Lyndon Johnson CIA call on Cuba that was never released. People are clinging to this, saying that of all the stuff that was released, one key file remains hidden, and that's a call between Lyndon Johnson and CIA Director John McCone after the assassination. Experts say that it could expose CIA ties to anti-Castro plots and answer if Cuba played a role in JFK's death. McCone was accused of hiding incendiary info from the Warren Commission, keeping the CIA's mafia-backed Castro hits secret. That source is from the Daily Mail. Again, what does it mean? I'm not entirely sure. Here's one that I found very interesting. So there's a document that it's dated 1998, 8/7/1998. Okay, and they were going through a declassification process at the CIA on this document in 1998, and it says the CIA has no objection to declassification and or release of CIA information in this document, except what's in the brackets. Okay. Well, what's in the brackets, right? You're fine with declassifying everything except for what's in the brackets. Well, the paragraph reads like this. In the way of background, the control file was created to give us the opportunity to closely monitor our liaison with Angleton on a variety of matters which were not reported through normal CIA channels. CIA directors permitted Angleton to run several intelligence projects, many of them with, this is where the brackets are, the Israeli Intelligence Service. On this entire document, the only thing that the CIA was worried about declassifying was what was in the brackets, and the only thing inside the brackets were the Israeli Intelligence Service. I don't know what it means. Again, this is why I think we needed a press conference with some context. Just me. That wasn't the only mention of the CIA and this information channel between the CIA and the Israeli Intelligence Service. Now, does this mean that the Mossad killed JFK? I don't know. Probably not. Like, who knows? I think we're all kind of trying to figure this thing out as we go. And you could understand why the CIA would be sharing intelligence with the Israeli Intelligence Service. So I don't necessarily think that this is a smoking gun. And I don't think that there's any real smoking guns in these 80,000 documents that have been discovered yet. But this wasn't just routine intel sharing. This was a deliberate effort to conceal Israel's involvement in sensitive U.S. operations. They would bypass the standard intelligence sharing channels. Now, the counterintelligence chief at the CIA went by the name of James Angleton. Angleton was the only guy that was the gatekeeper on this intelligence. He was the sole gatekeeper, and all of the Israeli intelligence or Israeli-related intelligence was filtered through him alone. He then would control the flow of intel to the FBI, carefully scrubbing reports to ensure that what's inside those brackets, the Israeli Intelligence Service, was never directly named. So some people are calling this a covert operation in plain sight. I mean, from what I've gathered from the JFK documents that have been circulating so far, do you know who killed Kennedy? It was Lee Harvey Oswald acting alone. It was the KGB. It was Cuba. It was Israel. And it was the CIA. All of them, depending on who you follow. Again, it's the amount of documents has given credence to just about every conspiracy theory that's out there on who killed JFK, while at the same time discrediting every conspiracy theory out there on who killed JFK, which leads me back to my original point. The rollout of this was very, very sloppy, and we could have used a press conference with Anna Paulina Luna and Pam Bondi giving us a bit more context to what we were looking at instead of just letting weaponized autists dive through these documents and go, aha! This is it. Now, as this stuff becomes more text-driven and searchable, I think we're going to get more of a clear picture, perhaps. But with 80,000 documents and the amount of theories and leads that were there, we may never know for sure. We may never know. It's interesting as all get out, but I'll be honest with you. Combing through this stuff last night, I essentially walked away with the same knowledge before I entered the chat. You know what I mean? Before I even started looking at these documents, I knew of all these theories. I knew of all these suspicions. And then walking away from the documents, all those theories and all those suspicions remain. Nothing was cleared up. Nothing was confirmed as of now. Maybe that changes. I hope it does. But that's my thoughts on the JFK file release. It is 10:23 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
What is happening at the CIA that has led to a SWAT team showing up this morning? Our breaking news is coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. I had one texter say, does this have to do with the JFK documents? I said, I don't.
No, I don't think it does.
The left has stirred up a lot of crazy lately.
Yeah.
This could be anything. But Joan will have the full report for you at 10:30. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Love those guys. So we got a bunch to get to. Elon Musk still in the news. People are terrorist attacking his Tesla dealerships. I don't know how you put it any other way. These attacks continue to escalate, firebombing vehicles, and now Tesla owners are being doxxed, which is just insane because the majority of Tesla owners are libs. They believe in the climate scam. They bought the electric car to save our dear Mother Earth, and now there's a new website that is doxing every Tesla owner in the country and adding the addresses of Tesla dealerships and the addresses of the Doge kids. So this website, it's called DogeQuest, reportedly exposed the personal details of Tesla owners across the United States. Names, addresses, phone numbers, and it's in a nice interactive map. The report is from the New York Post. They're targeting Tesla owners because they don't want you to drive a Tesla because I don't know if you've known this. Elon Musk actually is a Nazi. So you can't drive a Tesla. It always makes me chuckle because wait until you find out the origins of that Tyson Croup elevator that you get on. Yikes. The site also features an image of a Molotov cocktail as its cursor and the exact locations of Tesla dealerships. According to a report from 404 Media, the website's operators have stated they will only remove Tesla owners' personal data if they provide proof that they have sold their vehicles. So I think you might be able to get a cheap Tesla at some point. I mean, let's there's a silver lining there. But this is ridiculous, right? Like, this is terrorism. This is domestic terrorism. The news of the doxing website comes after we've seen time and time again these Tesla dealerships being attacked, cars being keyed, lit on fire, and more. There's a lot more to this story we'll talk about when we get back. Plus, what does Elon Musk think about all this? I have his comments and more. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 10:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Wow, it is still closed this morning in Lebanon on Murfreesboro Road between Holloway Road and Leanna Lane. That was an earlier crash, and police are still out there doing the investigation part of it. We'll stay on top of that through the morning. We're also following a breaking story out of Washington, D.C., where an armed man making threats at the gate of the CIA headquarters has been surrounded by a huge police presence, including a SWAT team. The local bomb squad is there, and I even saw some bomb-sniffing dogs. So the road in front of the CIA has been closed off to traffic while this situation plays out. We'll bring you more as we learn about it this morning. Well, first it was Putin yesterday, and it's Zelensky today. That's Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky there at a news conference this morning, saying that he's scheduled a phone conversation with President Trump for today after Trump's phone call with Vladimir Putin yesterday. Putin agreed in that phone call to stop attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure for 30 days. A Madison woman tells Channel 4 that she called police when she noticed a white X painted on her windshield recently.
I noticed it before I even got to press the button.
Before she could even unlock her car, Natasha Reynolds says she spotted this white X drawn on her back windshield.
I took a picture of it. I tried to scrape it off. It didn't come off.
She says panic shot through her body, so she posted the picture to the Nashville Girls Group and called 911.
And there are other girls who have had similar things happen.
Channel 4's Sharon Dankwa reporting there. Metro Police say they are looking into what those markers mean. Well, you'll notice some wind kicking up this afternoon. It should signal to you that there are thunderstorms coming. Channel 4's Stefano DiPietro telling us these storms could become strong, perhaps severe, but there's little to no chance that we'll see tornadoes from these storms. Keep it here. We've got the forecast coming up right after the news. That is the latest traffic and weather. Next, I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
"36 minutes past the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. Did I do the shows brought to you by Better Water LLC? I'll do it again. Love those guys. BetterWater.com. You need it. You need it. You can watch the show, Super Talk TV. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. If you're over on YouTube, join the chat. Add your comments. Hit like, hit subscribe. If you're not on YouTube, you can still join the chat. The text line and the phone lines are there for you, 615-737-9986. So domestic terrorism, right? It's domestic terrorism, what's been happening at the Tesla dealerships. I don't know how you can frame it any other way. You have Tesla owners being doxxed on a website called DogeQuest. Names, phones, addresses. And don't worry. They'll take your name off the list. All you have to do is provide your proof of sale. Sell your car. No thanks. I'll just park it in the garage. You insane lunatics. And if I find you on my property, well, you know that old fancy chart. You F around and find out. Here's the thing. I don't own a Tesla, but all of this makes me want to buy a Tesla anyway, just to say, screw you guys. I've wanted a Tesla. I want it for the auto driving. Get some work done while I'm stuck on 24 personally. But this website, man, it says on the website, if you're on the hunt for a Tesla to unleash your artistic flair with a spray can, just step outside. No map needed. At DogeQuest, we believe in empowering creative expressions of protest that you can execute from the comfort of your own home. Under a section titled, I want my information removed, the website claims, absolutely, just provide us with proof that you've sold your Tesla. The emergence of DogeQuest follows a series of attacks on Tesla dealerships and vehicles. Earlier this month in Loveland, Colorado, a woman was arrested for throwing an incendiary device at a Tesla dealership. In Oregon, 2 Tesla dealerships were recently targeted by gunfire. No injuries reported by the grace of God. Cybertruck owners have reported experiencing harassment, including verbal insults and obscene gestures. I saw one story in Portland where a guy had his car scratched, swastika in the hood. You know, it's a swastika car. And he said, why? I have a sticker on mine that says I bought this before Elon went crazy. Yep, nope, collateral damage. And this is all attempts at intimidation. And you have to wonder, when is it going to cross the line into actual violence against Tesla owners? This is domestic terrorism. Make no mistake about it. Domestic terrorism. They are trying to intimidate people so that way you sell your car. It's insane. And they're only intimidating people because why? Elon had the audacity to expose how the government is using our tax dollars. You would think that the majority of Americans would actually be more upset at the government than they are at Elon Musk. Yet you see the videos of these cars on fire. And if you're watching on Super Talk TV, you'll be able to see a video on the screen of this Tesla dealership in Las Vegas with the cars on fire. And they're exploding. You see these blue explosions coming from the cars because that's the battery exploding. This is a very dangerous situation for firefighters. You can't put these things out with regular water. You need a special kind of foam. It's insanity. And yet the left wants to call this a protest. It's a protest. No. This is far beyond a protest. This is domestic terrorism. Elon Musk was talking about the attacks targeting Tesla dealerships, Tesla vehicles, and more last night on the Sean Hannity show. And this is what he had to say about what he's been experiencing.
See people like I woke up this morning and saw that Teslas were put ablaze in one of your dealerships in Vegas. I've seen this happen all over the country. Bullets are being fired. Charging stations are put ablaze. Teslas are being put ablaze. You have experienced assassination, threats of assassination for you and your family. What have you done that warrants this? Because I see nothing that you have done except help our country.
Yeah, well, what he's done is he's exposed the Democrat operatives' slush funds via the USAID, and the money was drying up and people were losing their minds. What he did was he exposed the corruption, the fraud, the waste, and the abuse at the levels of our federal government that we always suspected but never had the data to back up. What he did was he showed how wasteful the government's been with your tax dollars. And for that, people want to kill him. For that, people want to blow up these cars. For that, people want to blow up your car if you own a Tesla. Or they'll scratch your car. And that the scratching of the car seems tame compared to what some of these individuals are thinking is the right way to go about protesting this. I mean, on that website, the cursor, the mouse, it's a Molotov cocktail. What did Elon do? Well, he had the audacity to love America.
Yeah, I mean, it's really come as quite a shock to me that there's this level of really hatred and violence from the left. I always thought the left, Democrats were supposed to be the party of empathy, the party of caring, and yet they're burning down cars, they're firebombing dealerships, they're firing bullets into dealerships, they're just, smashing up Teslas. Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. I've never done anything harmful. I've only done productive things. So I think we just have a deranged... there's some kind of mental illness thing going on here because this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
and I think there are larger forces at work as well. I mean, I don't know who's funding it and who's coordinating it because this is crazy. I've never seen anything like this.
No, and I agree with that. I do think that there are larger forces at work here. I think it's pretty easy to spot that. These protests don't feel organic. We've detailed on this show the accusations that these protesters are being paid. We understand that. And we've seen this similarly during the Summer of Love, protesters being paid. This stuff is so inorganic. Why would your average American be upset that Elon exposed waste, fraud, and abuse? Well, they're not. They're not. Things got to change, and they have to change very, very fast. Pam Bondi has now declared that these are acts of terrorism. She had an official memo put out yesterday. Statement from the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, on violent attacks against Tesla property. The swarm of violent attacks on Tesla property is nothing short of domestic terrorism. The Department of Justice has already charged several perpetrators with that in mind, including in cases that involve charges with 5-year mandatory minimum sentences. We will continue investigations that impose severe consequences on those involved in these attacks, including those operating behind the scenes to coordinate and fund these crimes. Now, is she going to do something about it? Time will tell. I'm waiting, especially for the people behind the scenes funding this. Your low-level idiot Antifa member who's taking the $200 check to do this, it's not going to change anything getting that person off the street, right? It's like your local drug dealer. No. We have to go after the manufacturers, right? When it comes to drugs, we have to target the cartels. Because you're just like drug dealers, you pinch one, two more will pop up in their place. The same is true with these Antifa members. We need to cut off the funding. We need to cut off the shadowy figures working behind the scenes. Pam Bondi says that she's going to be looking into and investigating those operating behind the scenes to coordinate and fund these crimes. I hope she does, and I hope that they act quick. Because somebody's going to get really hurt. Somebody's going to get, and I don't know which side it's going to be on. Is there going to be a Tesla dealer, a Tesla owner who's had his car keyed for the 3rd time and he sees somebody doing it, he loses his mind and he shoots somebody over their car getting keyed? I think that's a bit ridiculous. But at the same time, you'd understand the frustration. This has to stop. Or is it going to escalate into violence for the Tesla owners? You could see that happening too. And a lot of these Tesla owners, man, they're just sad, pathetic liberals who believe in climate change and thought they were doing something good for the planet. And I feel for them. They're caught in the they're caught in the crossfire, essentially. Like that one guy, we covered this story, gentleman with the USA leather jacket, elderly guy, handicap plates, and this guy, he obviously brainwashed by mainstream media. He walks up and he keys a car. And when you key a Tesla, there's cameras all around the car, so they capture you doing it. The Tesla owner posted it online, and somebody found him in a parking lot. He's like, hey, bud, the car you keyed was a little old lady who's a liberal and voted for Kamala. Like, why did you do that? It doesn't make any sense. And he's like, I didn't do that. And he's like, you're on camera. Like, you're in the same jacket now that you were in when you keyed the car. I saw your face online. Well, there's an update to that story. He was caught keying that Tesla in a Costco parking lot in San Jose, and he's now been charged with vandalism. Okay. Felony vandalism. All right. The San Jose police announced yesterday that the man in that USA jacket who was caught on video keying the car was arrested for felony vandalism. They say within less than 24 hours of the viral vandalism incident being reported to the San Jose Police Department, we successfully identified, located, and arrested the individual responsible for this act of felony vandalism. This senseless crime and its subsequent consequences should serve as a clear reminder, no matter one's personal beliefs or frustrations, they do not justify illegal actions. I urge everyone to respect one another and, above all, to respect the law. Well, shout out to the San Jose Police Department for getting this done. Thank you. Now let's do it with the ones setting the cars on fire. Now let's do it with the ones shooting at the Tesla dealership. Now let's do it with the ones firebombing Tesla dealerships, because these people need to have the book thrown at them. They do. In addition to the arrest, the San Jose mayor, Matt Mahan, spoke up about the incident, said keying a car because you don't like the person who designed it is like breaking a clock because you don't like the time it shows. Yeah, honestly. He said if this crime was politically motivated, our residents can't be held accountable for something Elon Musk is doing 3,000 miles away. I want to thank the police for finding the person responsible and to urge us all to voice our opinions where they matter, at the ballot box, not in a parking lot. I'm sure this mayor is a Democrat, but this is the right statement and the right action. And listen, he's right. If you're upset, go vote. Don't key somebody's car who's probably on your side politically anyway. And Elon, I mean, what's he doing? Trying to help the country? Saving astronauts? What an absolute madman. But the leftist media will say, well, no, these are protests. And, what's the difference between this and J6? Well, can you believe that? This actually happened on CNN. I rarely see Scott Jennings get heated. Most of the time, you witness Scott Jennings versus the liberals, and it's just a cat playing with a mouse, as Matt Murphy would say. It's a cat playing with a mouse. This leftist on the panel on CNN last night with Scott Jennings said this is just like J6, and he didn't have a problem with that. And Scott got visibly angry.
It's outrageous. It is terrorism. People ought to be put in jail and left there for a very long time and be taught a lesson.
So when they do it to a Tesla dealership, it's really bad. But when they do it to the halls of Congress, we should pardon them. Is that your position?
For the record, nobody brought Molotov cocktails to the halls of Congress. Nobody lit Congress on fire, right? Like, can we all agree on that? Yep.
No, I've never. I don't
Are
support.
we okay with
I know you haven't been around for a while. So let me educate you about my position about January the 6th.
I'm so sorry.
Let me educate you.
No.
You don't need to. You don't need to be condescending to me. So let me educate you about my position. You want to attack me? Let me finish. Let me finish.
Let's do this January 6th and then near.
I'm sorry you're getting emotional.
I'm sorry you're a condescending person who hasn't been paying attention to what I do.
Okay.
Stop, guys.
So
Scott Jennings, again. You rarely see that man get heated. Rarely. I can tell you how many times I've seen him get that angry. One time. But Scott Jennings has spoken out against the violence that happened on J6, and conservatives have spoken out against the violence that happened on J6. These are two different things. Make no mistake about it. When conservatives were mad because they thought an election was stolen, they took their issue to Congress to voice their opinion. There were many agitators in the crowd, many FBI informants in the crowd, and you can make your argument that violence was ratcheted up by people like Ray Epps, right? Nick Fuentes. You can make that argument. But when the leftists are mad, they're not voicing it politically and peacefully the way Donald Trump wanted J6ers to voice it. They're firebombing car dealerships. These two things are not the same. Scott Jennings had every right to get pissed. You rarely see it, but you love to see it. It's 10:52. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
We are still monitoring a reported barricade incident. This is at CIA headquarters in McLean, Virginia. Multiple police units and agencies, roads shut down, all of that involved. Where are we on potential legislation dealing with illegal immigrant children in Tennessee schools? That's coming up at 11 on Super Talk at 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Got a great text here, 0314. My son is an incomplete quadriplegic and has an adapted hand-controlled Tesla because of the auto drive and not having to stop and gas up. He lives his life in a wheelchair and has a job and is doing his best to live like any other able-bodied person. These acts of terror against a brand are unacceptable, especially if they attack with him in the car. He would be hard-pressed to defend himself or escape in the event of an extreme action on a car. I pray that nothing happens. But you can understand the threat and the fear, the way they're ratcheting up these attacks. And then they're joking about it on TV. Jimmy Kimmel, last night, he made this joke about Tesla stock failing and then essentially encouraged that these attacks continue to happen.
Tesla stock is way down, almost disastrously so. People have been vandalizing Tesla vehicles, new Tesla vehicles. Please don't vandalize. Don't ever vandalize Tesla vehicles. And so...
These people are sick. You understand that, right? Yeah, you understand that. I hope nothing happens to 0314's son in a car, and I don't think it will in Tennessee. But you may hear a horror story like that, and I pray we don't. But how long until this violence moves from Tesla dealerships and Tesla cars to the owners of those cars? It seems like we're a hop and a skip away, right? I pray it doesn't happen. But I wouldn't be shocked if it does. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We are tracking the potential for severe weather starting around 5 o'clock tonight on up to midnight. But this round, very low risk for anything severe. It could just be some thunder and some rain. We'll be watching it for you. Give the details during the full forecast in 5 minutes. Tens of thousands of newly declassified pages related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy have been posted online. Researchers say it could take a while to identify any important new details.
An overnight ABC News review of the decades-old files finds many had been previously released, though formerly redacted names, addresses, and sensitive phrases have now been unmasked. A 1961 memo to President Kennedy by a trusted advisor outlining his concerns about the CIA has finally been made fully public. There are also specifics never before seen on the spycraft of 1963, with memos outlining how the CIA tapped phones in the Mexico City embassies that had been visited by Lee Harvey Oswald in the months before the assassination. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump says his discussion today with Ukraine President Zelensky was based on yesterday's call with Vladimir Putin. Trump says we are very much on track. Those the assessment of his efforts to end the war in Ukraine. News from the Tennessee legislature, where the voting is delayed now on a couple of education bills related to illegal immigrant students. Here's Channel 4's Stacey Cameron.
The Senate Ways and Means Committee was supposed to vote on a bill that would let local schools kick out undocumented students or charge them tuition. But the committee chair, he decided not to vote on that bill. And then over in the House Subcommittee on Education, its members ran out of time before they could vote on a bill that would require a parent to submit citizenship papers when enrolling their kids in public school. But both bills will come back up for a vote next week.
Something to watch regarding schools and preferred pronouns today. An Ohio appeals court is hearing arguments from Parents Defending Freedom, a national Christian organization that argues a local school district's demand that everyone use preferred pronouns violates students' First Amendment rights. It applies to how students address each other online, too. A lower court rejected that argument. And apparently even scammers won't let a crisis go to waste. Here's Trevor Alt.
Jo-Ann Fabrics earlier this year announced plans to close all of their stores. A lot of shoppers saw an opportunity for going out of business sales, but scammers are capitalizing on that instinct. That prompted this Instagram post from Jo-Ann Fabrics. They're warning their only website is joann.com, and you have to beware of fraudulent websites, and it seems like there's an awful lot of them.
Jo-Ann isn't even selling anything online anymore. Store sales only. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. .06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. Our show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can watch the show. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. I know it's X, but Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. Appreciate it when you do. My kids want to stop eating bread and drinking only water. I said we got to get more likes and we got to get more subscribes, and then maybe we can have some meats.
Hey, at least it is the better water.
It is better water. It's the best water. Betterwater.com. I got a couple people waiting on the line that've been holding for a minute. First, let's go to Ann in Dixon. She wants to talk about the JFK info. What's up, Ann?
Hey there. I just wanted to let you know that I have had two friends who were on site at the JFK assassination. Jean Hill, who was referred to as the Lady in Red, and Mary Norman, who were across the street on the opposite side from where most of the people were standing, looking back toward the Texas Book Depository. They were the ones who made the headshot of JFK with a Polaroid camera.
Really?
Now, yes. Jean was one of my dearest friends, and she visited me so many times. Don't look to find really anything. I don't think that's going to be sensational in whatever we get, because I know so much about this assassination. I know how the FBI treated my friend Gene Hill. They took Mary and Gene down to the police station following the assassination. Of course, they confiscated their camera and their pictures and everything and interrogated them for 6 or 7 hours before they allowed them to leave. Gene told me, and I believe her with all of my heart because I know her, was standing looking toward the fence there by that little park that's beside the Texas Book Depository. And she told me that she saw a flash and she saw and smelled smoke from behind that fence, that someone shot from that side. And she ran across the street, started up the steps, and someone grabbed her and said, "Where are you going?" She said, "We've got to catch that man." So he's got a gun. He said, "Oh, no, I am with the Secret Service, and there's no one back there, and you need to turn around and leave."
Really?
Oh, yes, I know so much about it. And
Okay, so all right, I love this conversation, and I listen. I'm gonna take it on face value. I'm gonna trust your word. So, how did the lady in red say that the FBI treated her?
Oh, terribly. I've got a book that Jean wrote that you need to read, and she tells all about, they would go in her home. She was a school teacher. They would go in her home when she was gone and move things around.
Really? So
yes.
I've heard of intelligence agencies doing that before, and I've heard of that happening in foreign countries where we have people over there in embassies, and they kind of do that as like to let you know that they're in control. So they would break into her home and rearrange the furniture?
Yes, and they would sit on her street in a car and watch every move that she made. And too many things happened to Jean that are unexplainable. She was just treated terribly. It's just ironic that when she passed away from an unknown, mysterious illness, she always called it assassination cancer that was happening to all these people who were eyewitnesses to the Kennedy assassination.
She came down with a coincidence.
Yes, she did. And I flew to Dallas the first time it happened, and she made it through the problem. But then it happened again several months later, and she passed away. Died. She was the one who coined the name of what they called where this all happened, Grassy Knoll. That was attributed to her.
Really?
Yes, and she was on site and helped Oliver Stone when he came to Dallas to film the JFK movie.
That's fascinating.
But now let me tell you, her book is called JFK, The Last Dissenting Witness. You can get it, I think, through Amazon. I don't have my copy right here, and I'm not sure who the publisher is, but I think you can get it. And it is the most, I couldn't put it down when I read it. It was just, and it's just heart-wrenching to think that our government can do those things to ordinary citizens. They almost destroyed her life.
So was she under the belief that it was our own government that took out JFK?
Well, I know a little story. I don't know whether I would tell it or not because, Jim Hill had a dear friend named Madeline Brown. Madeline Brown wrote a book called Texas in the Morning, and I don't know whether it's available or not. But her story is of her love affair with LBJ.
Okay.
And supposedly the night before the assassination, there was a gathering at what was the old man's name? I can't think right now. But anyway, at his ranch, and LBJ came by, and Madeline Brown was there with her as a guest with LBJ. And he supposedly told her. Now, I'm just saying this may be true and it may not be true because I didn't know Madler that well. But she said that the president said, after tomorrow, we won't have to worry about the damn utilities.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So LBJ was pillow talking.
I guess he was. But anyway, it's a fascinating story, and I think I happen to know maybe the inside of what happened there. And I have formed my own opinion of what happened. I don't think Lee Harvey Oswald ever fired a shot.
Really?
I don't think he did. I don't. And why did he say, I'm just a patsy, and then Jack Ruby take him out?
Yep, dead men tell no tales.
I have the feeling, this is just my, and I've researched this for years. And Jean, when she spent 2 weeks with me every year, she'd come at Christmas, and she would come in the summer, and that's what I gave her for her birthday, and for Christmas was a ticket to come to Nashville so I could, because she could come and visit us.
Yeah.
And but anyway, I believe, really deep down, that Lee Harvey Oswald knew that he was being groomed for something. And he hoped that he would never have to do it because they tried to assassinate the president about a month before all this happened, and it was in the East somewhere, and I've forgotten now where. But anyway, to make a long story short, I believe that he and George Murchison, now Murchison was the person in Dallas who was a Russian who became an American, and he had a group that met every month at his home, and they discussed politics and all that, and Lee Harvey Oswald and his wife were seen there, as well as Ruth Payne, whom Oswald and his wife rented a room there at her house in Dallas. And it also is a strange thing to me that Ms. Payne had a Russian typewriter.
Interesting.
Wow. And this just goes on and on and on. I could talk about this from now until the day I die.
I'd love Miss Ann. I'd love to put you on hold and get your info from my producer and maybe set up a longer conversation with you. And
that would be wonderful, Chris. I'd love to talk to you.
I'd love that, and I appreciate you. Okay. I appreciate you hanging on the line as long as you did, and sharing that story with us. I think it's fascinating. I feel like you got a lot more to tell.
Oh, I do.
I love it. All right. Well, Miss Ann, thank you for the call. I do appreciate it. I'm going to put you on hold. My producer's going to get your info, okay?
I will hold, yes.
All right. I appreciate you. God bless. That's Miss Ann and Dixon. I love that. I love that story. That might be my favorite call that we've ever gotten on the radio show, honestly. Miss Ann, get her info. Get her info. She sounds like a gem. All right. A couple people want to talk about Tesla attacks. Let's go to Mike in Nashville. What's up, Mike?
Okay, yeah, how you doing? Hey, listen, Chris, it's just a matter, like you said before, it's just a matter of time before somebody gets hurt. This is getting to be real dangerous. They're posting people's address, people that own Tesla vehicles. They're posting where these people live at, the car makes. You know, you got guys going up. You know something, Chris. I don't believe in touching nobody else's property. You got guys keying people's cars. You know, you in a park, you at a Walmart, and some guy decides he wants to put a key to your door on your paint job. You know, just because you driving a Tesla doesn't mean that you support Elon Musk. You drive that Tesla because that's the car that you chose to buy. Some people could care less about Elon Musk. But I'm just sick of these people, these liberals that think that they can just touch anything and touch other people's properties. And like I said, when you go to a car dealership, I forgot what the video that's out right now, where somebody firebombed some cars last night. Cars are literally on fire at this dealership.
Las Vegas.
Somebody fired a gun into a dealership. Now, who's to say that there wouldn't be somebody in that dealership that gets hit by one of them bullets, a customer or an employee that works there or a security guard or whoever? Things are getting totally out of control. You can hate Elon Musk all you want, but that doesn't give you the right to terrorize Elon Musk or the people that buy his vehicles. And hopefully they'll be caught and they'll be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, because these people are disgusting. And I thank you for taking my call.
I appreciate it, Mike, and I'm with you, man. Ron on the road wants to talk about Teslas as well. What's up, Ron?
Hey, Chris, this is Ron. I'm a Model 3 Tesla for over 2 years now, and I tell everybody I'm the last person you think would own a Tesla. I'm a white, bald, Southern conservative, middle-aged Christian male who's not an environmentalist.
Okay.
Now, the beauty about a Tesla is that you get constant software updates on this vehicle. So the car that I bought 2 years ago is no longer the car that I have now. It's much more improved.
Interesting.
Not only that, has anybody looked into the Optimus robot? I can envision a future where all Tesla owners have an Optimus robot in the trunk. And if anybody comes to threaten your car, the robot jumps out and starts doing judo moves.
Yeah, you just send the robot after him.
Yeah.
It's like the Green Hornet. That's your Bruce Lee.
That's right.
I like it, man. I'm with it. Did you see that? And I appreciate the call, Ron. Did you see that Kim Kardashian took a picture with one of those robots? Just took a picture, and now she is a Nazi. The audacity of these people. I'm no Kim Kardashian fan, but you take a picture with a robot because you think it's cool. That doesn't necessarily make you a Nazi. Meanwhile, Elon Musk is just, he's spending his free time saving astronauts. Donald Trump was asked about Elon saving those astronauts last night during his interview with Laura Ingraham. This is in between Laura Ingraham interrupting him constantly, but he had this to say about Elon Musk.
Meanwhile, it's because of Elon Musk. Everything he did with SpaceX, that those astronauts stranded for 9 months, they're finally coming home. Mr. President, your reaction to what's unfolding?
So when I came in office, I said, Elon, we got to get them out. You have a rocket ship handy? How many people have a rocket? And Biden left them up. He abandoned them. We could have done this sooner, but Biden didn't want to because he was embarrassed by what happened. So they were up there. They were supposed to be there for a few days. They were there for many months. And now they're coming back. But think of it. Elon's able to do that with his genius, and you have people that hate it.
Yep.
And I really believe these are people that hate our country. It's a big problem. But there aren't so many of them. There are many more that love our country. Mm-hmm. And they love our country now more than they have maybe ever in their lives. There's never been a movement like MAGA, like America First, call it whatever you want to call it. This is the greatest movement in the history of politics.
What's the next stop for the astronauts? Are they going to be coming to the White House?
No, they're going to, number one, have to get better. When you're up there and you have no pull in your muscle, you have no gravity, you can lift 1,000 pounds like this. They have to get better. It's going to be a little bit tough for them. It's not easy. They're up a long time. And when they do, they'll come to the Oval Office.
Well, we'll be looking forward to that. I mean, just watching that capsule come down was really crazy, man. It looked like it was computer animated, like just how it looked coming down over the ocean. Really a sight to see. Watching those astronauts be taken out of that pod, like Trump said, the muscles, you got to get better, lifting them onto essentially stretchers after being up in space for that long. And that evil Elon Musk, we can't keep letting him get away with it. It's just ridiculous. The state of this country, the state of the leftists, absurd. You're finding how the government's wasting our tax dollars and saving astronauts? You bigot, you stupid Nazi. This is the logic of the left. It's 11:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at Cover Nash. You know Shane Ring. I talk about him all the time. Shane's a great guy, 20 years of experience in health insurance, and he can save you some money. No matter what your income level is or your health status is, talk to Shane Ring about some health insurance. He'll shop from over 75 different companies in the market, and he could easily and I mean easily, be saving you 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums. And some of the plans that Shane can hook you up with will even pay you when you use them. Don't let yourself or someone you know get taken advantage of by the car salesman insurance agents. You don't need that. Those call center agents with limited options and poor coverage. Talk to Shane. He'll look at every company available and find the plan that is perfect for you. You can give him a call today and book an appointment. Shane will talk to you as long as you need, and he'll walk you through the whole process. 615-465-0023, or you can hit the website, covernash.com. But call Shane today. You'll be surprised how much he could be saving you. 615-465-0023. Book an appointment with Shane Ring. Get a quality health plan managed by you, not the government. Covernash.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
We are monitoring the situation at CIA headquarters in Virginia. Reports say a person making threats drew a heavy police presence when he pulled out a handgun. Tell you about it at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I keep getting texts, and every time Ken mentions that story, they're like, oh, is this related to the JFK files? And I said, I don't think so. I don't know why anybody would be that wound up to go to CIA headquarters over the JFK files. But I do think that the left has kicked a hornet's nest of crazy lately. And maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. I mean, it's all speculation right now. But we'll be monitoring that story. Ken's in the newsroom. And one of the best news people in the country is on it, so we'll have updates as they become available. We're talking about Elon Musk and those astronauts. There was an astronaut on TV last night, and he was saying, man, all the credit in the world to Elon Musk and SpaceX and what they've been able to do. It's absolutely unbelievable. 9 months up there, Joe Biden couldn't do a damn thing or didn't want to do a damn thing because it would have politically helped Trump. Yet here we are today, Elon Musk saving astronauts.
Absolutely. Elon Musk saved the U.S. space program. If it wasn't for Elon Musk, we would not be able to fly U.S. astronauts from U.S. soil to the International Space Station. There's no doubt about it. We stopped flying astronauts on Space Shuttle in 2011.
And Scott, we're going to have a press conference. We're going to dip into it in a few.
Elon Musk saved the space program. Elon Musk saved NASA. That Nazi. That stupid bigot. This is the left. Did you see that when the pod with the astronauts landed, it was circled by dolphins? Did you see that?
Yeah.
How cool is that?
That was very interesting.
It's like I feel like that's a divine sign. They say that's very, very good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was pretty cool, man. And if you're watching on Super Talk TV, you can see the video that was posted by Colin Roog, who it shows the pod of dolphins circling the SpaceX capsule in the Gulf of America. Oh yeah, Gulf of America.
Free vessel, and that is where our Crew 9 team members will egress from the Dragon spacecraft. Now, here on your screen, we can see dolphins, actually,
a whole lot
who
of dolphins
want to come and play with Dragon. Now, one of the fast boats there in place, working to assist the recovery team member. It's incredible. I just love these views. We really see them even better in daytime, but just seeing the recovery team work in tandem to step through each operation. The
whole process was unbelievable. Watching that thing come down in parachutes, watching the boat race up to it, watching the boat drag it back, seeing it dock, seeing the astronauts come out was really like a cool moment, a proud of America moment. And shout out to Elon Musk for making that happen. Unbelievable time to be alive right now. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Tell you about this low risk for severe weather tonight. We're monitoring the situation at CIA headquarters in McLean, Virginia. Reports say a person making threats drew a heavy police presence. Officials say a man pulled out a handgun, pointed it at the building. No shots fired, no injuries reported. CIA leading the investigation and a SWAT on the scene assisting. President Trump says his call with Ukraine President Zelensky this morning was based on his call yesterday with Vladimir Putin. Trump says it was a good conversation with Zelensky. He says they are very much on track toward ending the war in Ukraine. Also today, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz talking to his counterparts from Russia and Ukraine. We get more from Karen Travers.
Mike Waltz says he is talking to his counterparts today from both sides, and there will be meetings this weekend in Saudi Arabia with senior U.S. officials and Russian officials. Waltz said it's shuttle diplomacy, and he said it is difficult and it is tough, but they're going back and forth between the two sides. But that's the key question here is when do you stop going back and forth and bring both sides to the negotiating table? It doesn't seem like that's happening anytime soon.
In Gaza, Israeli forces say they have resumed ground operations. And the website of the National Archives slowly being populated with previously classified and redacted records related to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy. Historians like Jeff Morley, interested in the mid-20th century intelligence gathering techniques of America's spy agency.
The CIA had Lee Harvey Oswald under surveillance for 4 years. Will we learn more about that? I hope so.
Here's Jim Ryan.
10 months after the assassination of JFK, the Warren Commission concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. 6 decades later, newly declassified documents have hit the internet.
Is there going to be something that shockingly proves what happened? I sort of doubt that.
Jeff Morley blogs about the Kennedy case, and as badly as he wants the new records to point to a smoking gun that wasn't in Lee Harvey Oswald's hands,
I'll believe it when I see it.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at the Glock store. I saw a fascinating story last night while I was doing show prep that concealed carriers stop more mass shootings than police, and they do so with fewer mistakes. Are you ready should that situation arise? If you're not, well, you should go down to the Glock store and sign up for a training session. You can do that at shoot270.com. You can also get a Glock at the Glock store. I know, weird. It's the most popular handgun in America, and it's the most popular handgun in America because of how much you can customize that thing. With performance parts, whatever you need, you can get it at the Glock store. And when you buy a competition trigger or a night sight or extended controls or red dot optics at the Glock store, whatever you buy to enhance your Glock, there's always a gunsmith on duty that will install the parts for free while you wait. I know, it's crazy. You can do that at the Glock store. Now, maybe you're listening online, you're watching us, and you're not in the Nashville area. You can always shop at GlockStore.com. But if you need something for your Glock, you can guarantee it is at the Glock store. You'll find lots to like about a minute from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, always available online, GlockStore.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
I know a number of you
$37 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. If you're listening on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or the FM dial, we appreciate you. If you're watching us on SuperTalk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, we appreciate you. Make sure wherever you're watching, you hit like, you hit subscribe, you repost, you share with your friends. That's how we get our message spread, and we appreciate you guys for doing so. There's a story that I really wanted to cover today. The Denver mayor, Mike Johnston. He may be the most soy boy mayor in America, and I don't take that title lightly. I mean it when I say it. I think this is the biggest soy boy in America, especially as an elected official. He was on TV yesterday, and he was crying. He was this mayor's very upset, very upset. Apparently, an illegal alien was arrested by ICE in Aurora, Colorado, and Mike Johnston, the mayor of Denver, so sad. He's so sad because he says this is just a mom with no criminal record. And now, on its face, it's a huge joke because if you're in the country illegally, well, you are a criminal, right? Like, that's how it works. I know. It's hard for mayors to understand. They tend to be, especially in these sanctuary cities, a day late and a dollar short. But Mayor Mike Johnston took it a step further. He went, he's on TV here, and he's crying. He's crying because he says this illegal alien is just a mom with no criminal record.
I know a number of you have been tracking this morning information about Jeanette Vizquera, who has been picked up by ICE. I just want to make clear people should know what this is. This is not immigration enforcement. This is Soviet-style political persecution of political dissidents under the guise of immigration enforcement.
Oh.
This is not someone with a criminal record. This is a mom of American citizens who works at Target and has started a community nonprofit. This is not something that makes our community safer, in my mind. I think it makes our community lawless.
Oh, it makes our community lawless. This is like the Soviets, he says. There's no criminal. She has no criminal record. It's weird, though, because just a little bit of research will expose this mayor, Mike Johnston, out of Denver, as a fraud and a liar. ICE has confirmed that she does, in fact, have deportation orders, and she's had deportation orders stretching back to the Obama administration. Weird. What? I thought you said that she didn't. No? Oh. Bill Malugin actually put up a lengthy post about this illegal immigrant who's just a mom with no criminal record, Jeanette Vizquera, and she's got a lot. She's got a lot. On February 5th, 2009, ICE Denver office lodged an immigration detainer on her. February 26th, 2009, in the Arapahoe County Court. She was convicted of forged instrument possession, second degree. Sentenced her to a term of 23 days in jail. No criminal record, he said. That was 2009. February 27th, 2009, ICE took custody of her, pursuant to an immigration detainer. On March 11th, 2009, she was released from ICE custody after posting an immigration bond. March of 2009, end of March 27th, she was convicted of failure to display proof of insurance and driving without a license and ordered to pay fines. No criminal record. In 2011, November of 2011, a federal immigration judge denied her application for relief from federal immigration proceedings, but granted her a voluntary departure. Considered an immigration benefit, she failed to depart the U.S. per the terms of the order within the 60-day window. Instead, filed an appeal. September of 2012, she self-removed to Mexico. April 2013, she was arrested in Texas for illegally entering the country again. So she's illegally entered the country twice. She's been arrested for failure to have insurance, driving without a license. That's up until 2013. She was also entered into ICE custody in El Paso, Texas, where her prior removal order was reinstated. In May of 2013, she had they were considering withdrawing her case because she departed the U.S. prior to a decision being made on her appeal. On June 7th, 2013, she received an order of supervision because under policy at the time, she did not meet the agency's priorities for removal. 2014, application for stay of deportation until February 1st, 2015. February 2015, ICE granted her an application for stay of deportation until August. And then Denver denied another application of stay for deportation. Her counsel notified ICE that she would be taking sanctuary in First Unitarian Society Church in Denver and would not be reporting to ICE as ordered. May of 2017, she received an automatic stay of removal due to Senate Bill 603, a private bill submitted on her behalf, and her removal was stayed until March of 2019. The private bill was not enacted. Fast forward March of 2019, she once again sought sanctuary at this church in Denver, where she remained a fugitive until she was recently deported. This woman entered the country illegally twice, was driving without a license, no insurance, was arrested, and has been in and out of immigration court nonstop since she's been here. You know what? Spoiler alert. Those taxpayers covered the whole thing. This is Soviet style enforcement, says the mayor of Denver. Just a little bit of research goes a long way. It's a little bit. Shout out to Bill Malhusian from Fox for that report. There's an ICE field officer who released a statement about what Mike Johnson, the mayor of Denver, said. He said, "Finally, the Biden administration kept me from deporting Jeanette Vizgara 4 years ago. She should have been deported in 2009 as well. She hid in the church the first time Trump was president. She's a criminal, hates Trump, and is an open borders, abolish ICE advocate. Bye." Bye. Yep. Got to go home. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You know the song. Everybody knows the song. We're not allowed to use the song. Copyright. But you know the song. Speaking of the border, there's a report that 38,000 Chinese illegal aliens are living in the United States despite being ordered to deport. Close to 40,000, this is from Breitbart, close to 40,000 illegal aliens from China are now living in the United States despite having been ordered deported by a federal immigration judge, a new report suggests. Yes, Chinese illegal aliens refusing to leave the country. Interesting. The Biden administration allowed illegal immigration from China to boom in the U.S. from 2021 to 2024. Last year, for instance, the House Homeland Security Committee published southern border data showing that the Chinese illegal immigration had increased to record levels. And you have to ask, why? What are they planning? It's a bit interesting. 38,000 illegal Chinese are here with deportation orders. I'm sure that's not the total number of illegal Chinese here, but that's the number that we have with deportation orders. The Trump administration has been focused on prioritizing deportations of illegals with criminal records, but I would suggest that these 38,000 Chinese nationals need to be prioritized as well, because as you know, we're not exactly the coziest of allies with China. So I wonder what they're doing here. You know, we understand that they've been operating secret police stations in the past and secret biolabs in the past and up to no good. I can't imagine that they're here for amicable reasons. Hopefully, though, they're removed quickly. We did have one illegal alien that was removed, and oh my gosh, you got to see this picture. You put the picture up on the screen for those of you watching on Super Talk TV. That, my friends, is an illegal alien who was arrested by ICE, and she's sobbing. She's sobbing. She's a bit overweight, I would say. Bit overweight. Very, very sad. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested this illegal alien with prior drug trafficking convictions on Wednesday in Philadelphia. She was very upset about it. Very sad. She was dealing fentanyl. Well, you know what, though? If we don't deport her, maybe she could come up with a cure for cancer or be one of our nation's leading scientists. Probably not. Probably not. Officials with ICE, the U.S. Marshal Service, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives joined forces to nab the suspect identified as 36-year-old Virginia Basora Gonzalez, who is originally from the Dominican Republic. ICE announced on Thursday her rap sheet includes prior convictions for attempted possession with intent to distribute fentanyl and aiding and abetting. She was previously removed from the U.S., re-entered the country without admission by an immigration official. The agency explained. Images show the moments after authorities caught the woman who was wearing gray sweatpants and a black shirt and was very, very upset. Yes, very sad. Very, very sad. We got to get these fentanyl dealers out of here. Fentanyl's killing almost 250,000 Americans a year. And if you know somebody dealing fentanyl, this is insanity. You got to report them. And if you know an illegal alien, you can always report that suspicious criminal activity to ICE, 866-DHS-2-ICE. That's the phone number, 866-DHS-2-ICE. Keep that number handy just in case you have a reason to call. I hope you don't, but if you do, 866-DHS-2-ICE. And hopefully we'll see many more fentanyl dealers with a sad, sad face like one Virginia Basaro Gonzalez. It's 11:49 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll check in with Chad Benson when we get back on the Chris Hand Show, see what Chad's got in store for you later this afternoon right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:53 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? Chris Hand, Chad Benson. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC.
Gay
Water filtration
frogs
systems.
everywhere. There's gay frogs. They're over to my house right now, and they're having brunch. Gay frogs.
That's how you know.
That's
because
it.
they're having brunch.
You know what? My producer's gay, and he says brunch, the gayest meal of the day.
It's the truth. BetterWater.com.
They just swatted one of his guys.
Who? Yeah, Chase Geyser.
Yeah.
Yep. After one of his guys got murdered.
Murdered.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
All because of gay frogs.
Honestly.
Man, now he's got to be living it up.
Oh, my God. RFK. I knew this wasn't real. I've already talked to the guy that killed RFK, JFK, K, ABCD, MLK, everybody. I know those guys. They're my friends. Had them over for dinner with the gay frogs. They make a great crepe.
It's like pancakes, but a little bit gayer.
That's exactly. We went out last night, so we went to the King's Bowl. There was an event there for the sports station, and I went to meet a client, and we were there. And my daughter loves crepes, and she was going to get one. And then afterwards, my eldest, and she says, "Oh, let's get gelato." And my daughter goes, "What's that?" I go, "It's like ice cream, but gayer."
My kids love crepes too. Underrated.
They are underrated.
There was a crepe spot where was it in? It was in like outside of Phoenix. I want to say it was Mesa, but like when we went to do like a family vacation there, we're weird, so we're like looking for YouTube recommendations for restaurants. We found this crepe spot. My kids love crepes. The best crepes you've ever had in your life. Like screw France.
Yeah, the French. Well, they don't have. The French, they make good crepes. They do. I'm not going to lie to you. But
not the best.
No, not the best. Right?
We took it and we improved it.
I was going to say, of course, the Canadian's talking about how much he loves crepes.
Oh, yeah.
The Canadian, I know, right? First time I saw him, I'm like, is he Canadian?
Because I say out and about weird.
Out and about. You know what I'm saying there. Out and about, but then you go blasting on us.
I know. Sometimes it slips.
Do you have family that's like got that accent?
Yeah.
When you get around them, do you just switch back to it?
Not entirely. But like years ago, like we don't go up there much anymore because I can't deal with it. Everybody's too angry and it's too cold. But when I would go up there before, like back when me and my wife were dating, I'd go up for a week and I'd come home and she'd be like, "I think you need like 3 days in the South before we hang out again." Because like
all on edge and
my
everything.
mentality would just completely revert back. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. That's when we flew out to LA a couple weeks ago. The minute we got off the plane and we got our car. And I'm driving. I'm like, just like, let's do this, because you know what's coming, right? And it's noon, and it's Thursday, and you're in just bumper to bumper traffic.
Yep.
And it's and everybody's screaming. And I'm just like, oh, this is why.
It was like, so I moved to Richmond, Virginia in 2009. I was 20, and then I came back for like a visit, like a couple years after that. And I'm driving. I'm with my dad, and he's like, "You okay?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" "I'm fine." He's like, "You just slowed down and stopped at that yellow. Like it just turned yellow."
Yeah.
"What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, sorry, Dad."
Sorry. This is the way normal people do.
Yes. This is how you're supposed to drive, actually.
So, we didn't know that. We thought the yellow was a guessing game.
Yellow means speed up because it's about to turn red in Massachusetts, and in the South, it's like, no, just chill.
In England, the yellow starts to blink for like 10 seconds.
Oh.
So you know that it's going to change. It's kind of bizarre. But you don't know what blink it's going to change on.
A blink?
Just a guessing game.
Yeah, so it goes, and then and this is the other thing.
Does it speed up? Like,
no,
does it blink faster the closer you get to red?
No, but here's the other thing.
That would be smart.
The other way, theirs starts blinking as well. So everybody kind of knows people are going to be either zipping through or what. It's just weird. They have a lot of roundabouts, too.
Everything's blinking?
Yeah, it's a lot of blinking going on.
We had roundabouts in Massachusetts. You know what we called them? We called them rotaries.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I lived in Camberley and Surrey, and people go, "Where's that?" And I go, "Camberley and Surrey." Oh, you have all the roundabouts? Because that was like the king of. They had, it was a decent amount of size, but there was maybe 2 lights in the whole town. Everything was a roundabout.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's fascinating.
And it's weird when I go around here because I use my blinker, and that's just muscle memory because you use your blinker over there. Otherwise, people yell at you. If you're going to go to the right, you put your blinker on. If you're going to go to the left, you can go back around. Another thing, you put your blinker on. It's weird.
Blinkers in Massachusetts are optional. Fingers mandatory.
Absolutely. That feels like that.
Yes, it does.
It feels like that. Same thing in California, but everybody starts yelling. Nobody knows. What did he say? I don't know. If it ain't Spanish, I know Spanish curse words.
What I do now is I do the condescending thumbs up. I think that just, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Hey, I'm A-okay.
Yeah.
You know, I saw, I'm sure you saw, this person pulls up to, this person's got a pink, Tesla truck.
Oh.
And an old lady pulls up and she's flipping him off. And my thought process was, that guy, you don't know what that guy's politics are or that gal's politics are. You don't know how long they've had that truck. You don't know any of this stuff. You're mad at a person that they've never met because they bought a truck that they designed, and you're just so effing angry.
So angry.
Yeah.
Thank you, mainstream media. Thank you, leftists.
Yeah, unhinged.
Honestly, and they've whipped them up into a frenzy. They've just kicked the hornet's nest over and over and over. Like, you'd think that the hornets would be just completely missing from the nest.
Well, they're probably tired, man. Like, how long do we have to fly?
What do you got coming up today?
You know, we're going to make fun of the JFK stuff because, boy, that was a big... we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk some more about, nobody seems to care about 121,000 people losing their job if Tesla goes bankrupt here in America. But if some people lose their job for the government, that's a big story.
That's a good point.
So, we're talking a bit about that.
Yeah, they're cheering on the stock dropping.
I know. Tim Wall settled down. And dog. We know what the most popular dog breed is. There was a dog sold last week. Insane money.
Really?
Millions.
Can it make...
Only one in the world.
Can it make crepes?
I'm like, maybe. Makes pancakes. Really good waffles.
It's 12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.